Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Today's the Day Changemakers podcast. I am your host, Jody Grinwald. And as I say every week, I interview the changemakers, the inspirers, and those who are disrupting the status quo in the best way possible. But this week, we're doing something a little different, talking about the let them theory. And as you can see behind me, it is an incredible book, which I have not finished yet, but I have been doing a tremendous amount of listening and learning. And Mel Robbins really hit the mark with this book. Simple, let them, right? How many times could we have said that to ourselves over and over again throughout life? But there's something to be said when someone writes a book, talks about it, and it catches on. People are getting tattoos with let them and let me. Why is that? And I wanted to talk to you about that today. I also want to talk to you about a couple of new things that are happening with Today's the Day Changemakers that you can be included in as well. So the let them theory is one of those in which where you're sitting in a situation where someone has made you feel uncomfortable, bad. You really are having this feeling of trying to take control of something, and that's not happening. It's taking that breath and saying, let them do whatever they're going to do, and let me take back my power and let me understand what I need and what I want and take care of myself. So I have a book club that's starting. And if you want to be a part of it, please let me know. You can be on via virtual. At this point, there's no more room for the in-person. But if you'd like to be part of the Let Them Book Club, please let me know. You can email me at Jody, Jodi, at todayisthedayliveit.com. Could wind up being a universal book club with people from all over the globe, which would be really exciting. So feel free to let me know if you're interested in joining. We would love to have you a part of it. But I'm also doing something that I'm really excited about with this entire let them premise, because imposter syndrome is real, because trying to take on too much is real, because judgment, which is what really the premise is about, is when we feel like we're either being judged or being left out, how we can say, let them. So I want to share with you the Changemaker Insight series that is for professionals, regardless of your title or your role. And I'm going to read to you exactly what it's about so that I don't miss a beat on this. But we all face similar challenges, setting boundaries, managing imposter syndrome, and finding our authentic voice in a world that consistently demands more from us. That's why I really am excited to invite you to this conversation. It will be a virtual conversation. The premise will be around this let them theory, but what we will discuss is way above and beyond all of that, as we all wear multiple hats within our organizations. No matter what your title is, you can't tell me that you are not juggling more than one thing. And we wear the titles of life: mom, dad, spouse. There's an aunt, uncle. There's a tremendous amount of titles that we all carry, and they get heavier and heavier and heavier, right? So at this point, it is important in our lives to take care of ourselves. And whether we use the let them theory or we talk about how to work through imposter syndrome or something else that I want to talk to you about in 1 minute, but boundaries are definitely important. And in this insight series that I am so excited to share, this is going to be helping you to get insight within yourself, but also insight within the people that you work with, that you're around, family members. So Let Them in itself offers valuable tools to help you take control of your time, reduce stress, and make decisions that align with your authentic values. But we're going to explore and go even deeper. So I have this whole premise about getting a seat at the table. And one of my mentors had shared with me about the fact that getting a seat at the table is very important so your voice can be heard, right? Well, sometimes it's not possible to get a seat at the table. They won't let you, right? And sometimes when you do get a seat at the table, your voice isn't heard, right? So that's when you have to let them do what they need to do and maybe look for another table. Well, I want to teach everybody who is having trouble finding their table, having trouble getting their voices heard, how to build their own table. And I have done that multiple times. And there was a time where I thought I didn't have a voice and what I had to say didn't matter. And I worked for big organizations and sat at those tables where I felt like I nobody could hear me. No matter how many times I'd say something in different ways, getting a word in edgewise was really hard. And even when my voice was put out there weren't some ears in the room that were listening, yet the person next to me could give the exact same thought process or idea and spin it, and it be shared and someone hear it. And still to this day, I may never understand why that is. And that may or may not be happening to you. But if you're feeling like you want your voice to be heard, if you're feeling like you want people to let you give you a chance, and that's not happening, then at that point, it's time to build your own table, which I did. So I built my own table by putting together a podcast, which I was petrified to start, and an international forum, and soon to be launched compilation book, hopefully by the end of 2025. Because I continue to build tables and inclusively invite people to my table where voices are heard. That's why the changemakers that are part of this podcast, they're not egocentric. They're not invited to the table unless they're heart-centered. Those are the types of people I have decided I want to surround myself with. That's how I'm letting me be happy. And I'm inviting all of them into my sphere. And they, in turn, so many times invite me into theirs. But in this case, it isn't about ego, and it isn't necessarily about business. I'm sharing stories authentically, organically, for people to be heard so that their work that's so important and valuable in this world can be shared. But your work and the things that you're doing, no matter what they are valuable. You are an original. All of us are. There's how many accountants and how many doctors and how many attorneys, and how many podcasts. But yet, if you're listening to this one, you could be listening to something else. And I want to thank you for listening to this one. Don't forget to subscribe to the Today's the Day Changemakers YouTube channel and like us on Facebook and Instagram at Today is the Day Live It. And if you want to write a review, we love that. But that is never what I start with or the reason I started this. If my book, it was if I could find that one person, because I was that one person that needed that support in a room filled with people that seemed to all get it. And yet I didn't understand why. It wasn't that I didn't get it, but I wasn't getting heard. And I didn't understand why sometimes I wasn't invited to the table. And we can't get invited to all the tables. And as Mel Robbins would say, let them feel the way they want to feel and be the way they want to be. And if they don't want to invite you, that's on them. And then I get to take back control of how I want to feel. I'm able to reposition. I'm able to find perspective because nobody can take anything away from you unless you allow it, which is such a hard premise to understand. And that's why I'm looking so forward to starting this insight series to help people really truly be able to connect with themselves and learn how to even connect better with people that are supposed to be around them. There's so many signs and opportunities for us to connect with like-minded people, and so many times we may throw that away. There's also something else I want to share. In a world in which we are very much egocentric, and it's very much about what can I get out of this conversation because my time is very limited. So if I take time away and I have a conversation with person A over here and person B over here who can potentially fund my mission or buy from me, be my client and my customer, you can be short-sighted in that if you don't talk to customer A over here, they may know 10 people that could be your client or your customer. But if you're always so worried about what the end result is going to be, instead of sharing what you're doing and why you're doing it, and who you are, if we could be more human in business and more authentic, incredible things happen. I can tell you that right here. There are so many people I don't have any reason to have met. But because I've had people on this podcast that have led me to another person, that have led me to another person, I've interviewed people that are building libraries in villages in other countries. I've interviewed the executive producer of one of them of the TV show NCIS. I've interviewed CEOs, philanthropists, authors, CNN heroes, all because of one person who set off a domino effect to meet more and more people. So being open to the people that you meet are so important. And I will also mention, don't only reach out to someone because you need something. There was a time in my life that I worked for a very large nonprofit organization. And when I worked there, there was someone who I so badly wanted to get to know because I liked what they were doing in Major Gifts and I wanted to learn that part of the business. And I also wanted to see if I could go out on appointments with that person. But that person didn't give me the time of day. Well, that person left that nonprofit and so did I. And I went to work for a chamber of commerce. That person had moved out of the state and had come back and had to take a lesser role. They had a health issue. And so they were getting back into the swing of things. And the person who wouldn't give me the time of day reached out and called me and said, "Hey, I see that you're at the Chamber of Commerce." And I'm like, "Oh, I know her. And I really need some connections. Could you help me?" And I remember this person. I remember exactly how I was treated way back when. And what do you think I did? I went to lunch with the person and I helped them make connections. But in that moment was a moment I realized the lesson. And the lesson is let them be who they need to be in that moment. And you get to choose who you want to be in another moment when they may come to you because they need you. Remember, this world is small, as big as it feels. And the way you treat someone today, you could be in a position where something that you need from them may happen tomorrow. So ignoring that phone call, not picking up, not giving the person the time of day because you don't know, you don't want what they have. Maybe it is one day they're gonna have what you want. So how do you make it work in your schedule that you can balance a little bit of everything? And for those of you who are in sales, because we all are, if you could take a step back for a moment and instead of selling your product, sell the reason why it's so important, maybe not even sell at all, just come from a place of service. Because when we come from a place of service, we let people then have an opportunity to feel something. And then they have possibly the want, not just the need, to utilize your services, but more importantly, because you are authentic, they're willing to connect with you. And they may not be your client today, but they may know 25 other people can be your client tomorrow. So going back to my Insight series, that's going to start on March 25th. And we are going to have such a good time with this. I'm really excited because it'll be virtual. There will be people from around the globe. This is an opportunity for everyone to come together. And I cannot explain enough how we do not realize the things that we do and we say every day because we are on cruise control. And also those things that we say to ourselves. Many times we wouldn't say to a friend, a colleague, or maybe somebody we don't even like very much. So this book, Let Them, and the book club, it starts Thursday on February 13th. So if you miss one, it's fine. If you'd like to join, let me know. I will tell you that this is very focused group, and we are so excited to read this book. We're only in the very beginning. But if you're interested in the Insight series, I really hope that you'll reach out. I'll give you more information. There's a small cost for it as well. But the important part is that we're lifting each other up and we're learning from each other. And the email address, Jodi, Jodi, at todayistheday.liveit.com. Please go also to the website. That is todayisthedayLiveIt.com. One last thing. I'm very excited that I'm launching this new series and the Insight series that we're talking about, the Let Them theory and imposter syndrome and boundaries and so much more. But also I'm excited that on February 25th, Catherine Curry Williams is going to be talking to us. She wrote a book called Philanthropy on a Shoestring. If you are in the nonprofit world, if you are on a board, if you just care about giving back, and her book is not only Philanthropy on a Shoestring, it's how to make a difference with $1.40 a day. $1.40. I know me, I love my Starbucks, and I know it's way more than $1.40 a day. So if you can, please join us. It's virtual. It will be live, so you'll be able to do a Q&A with Catherine Curry Williams. She just did a TED Talk. She wrote this book. She is the co-founder of the She Angels Foundation. Listen to this. They give out grants to female run and founded nonprofits that support women and girls in the community. Did you know that only 1.8% of the funds raised around the globe are given to women and girls? That more money is given to our pets. And I love my pet, Cello. He's on my lap. But women and girls need funds too to do the things that they love to do. All of us do. So I hope you'll join us on February 25th at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. I have to always remember to say Eastern Time because I talk to people all over the globe. It's $35 to attend. You can go on Today is the Day, liveit.com to learn more about it. But if you sign up, you get her book as well. That is included in your registration, Q&A, and she's going to talk about collective giving. And she's going to talk about connection. She's going to talk about her TED Talk and her book. And I highly recommend that you come and listen if you are in any part of the nonprofit sector or just care about the world, because her light shines bright on what she has to share, on how we can make the world a better place. And coming soon, there'll be more change makers that will be coming to you. They will be on the screen, sometimes maybe in person, but I am very excited about what's coming up for Changemakers. As we form a connective unit, it will be a membership opportunity where the Changemakers around the world and all of us on the ground who are making the world a better place in our little corner, bigger corner, we're having an impact, can join together in this connective. But for now, again, the book club, if you're interested, you can email me. Starts on February 13th, and it will continue for a few weeks. That's for the Mel Robbins Let Them theory. So important. Also, really fast, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That method that she has is incredible. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how that got me through a situation that just by counting down and at every level, 5, I can do this. 4, head held high. 3, you know you've got this. And at each one of those numbers, giving yourself that advice that you would give the friend who has to do something that's challenging in their life. And then when you hit 1, as I needed to do, I got opened my car door, got out of the car with my head held high with a challenging situation. And I walked in with my shoulders nice and broad, and it felt so good. So the theories work. They work because you have to believe in them. They work because I think it's about 600,000 people who bought her book in the first 2 weeks it was out. So it does work. It's all about coming together with people. We can decipher the book. We're also going to talk about a lot of other things, including in our Insight series, imposter syndrome, setting boundaries, and how the word no when you're in a professional setting doesn't have to be bad or disrespectful. It is truly about setting the right kind of boundaries that set you up for success and your clients and your customers. That is just so important. So March 25th, we have the Insight series starting virtually, and February 25th, Catherine Williams virtually, and February 13th, the book club. So today is the day, has a lot of things happening, more to come. I'm very, very excited to be sharing all of these things with you. If you have questions, if there's a topic that you would like to hear us talk more about on this podcast, or if you're a change maker and you have a story to share, you're making a difference in your corner of the world or much larger area, please reach out to me. Remember that we get to choose every day whether we're going to smile and say hi to the person across from us, whether we're going to connect with ourselves, whether we're going to let the things in life overwhelm us, or whether we're going to let them, whoever they are, do whatever they do and take back our control, our control of ourselves, and let them have control of what they do. It is so easy to get trapped in the world of imposter syndrome, judgment, being a control freak. I can tell you I'm a recovering control freak is what I call myself. And I can go through stories and will, and when we do our insight series on how I continue to be a recovering control freak. And it's a process. All of these things are a process. But I wanted to give you an overview of the excitement of the things to come for Today is the Day and for all of you. And please, again, connect with me. Let me know how I can better serve you, the community. What is missing in your community, in your membership organizations that you're not seeing? And we stay so localized in our close sphere. And that works in certain cases in business if you have a brick and mortar location and you don't ship somewhere, right? If you're a restaurant or other organizations that are just very much centered in their community. But if you have the opportunity to work with people outside of your community, come along with us because we're looking at a global opportunity here of meeting new people. And yes, you're busy, but guess what? I promise you an opportunity to meet heart-centered people who really do care about making a difference. It's a lot of fun. And more importantly, these people want to help lift all of us up. And that's what I'm excited about. So I hope to see you at one of the upcoming Today is the Day events. Looking forward to a forum, International Changemakers Forum in the fall. More to come on that. Thank you to the over 860 cities who have downloaded this podcast. 70 something countries now. All of you matter and make a difference. My goal was if I could just reach one person and they have one nugget of information that helps them with their day in some way, then everything is worth it. And so giving this out there to the world and hoping that it connects with someone gives me the greatest joy. Remember to do something today that brings you joy. And I'm going to say what I say at the end of every single podcast, as I hope to see and meet so many of you very soon. Today is the day. You cannot go back to yesterday, and you do not yet own tomorrow. So what small or large steps are you going to take today to get yourself closer to your goals? Don't forget to subscribe to the Today is the Day Changemakers YouTube channel because I want the guests to be heard. They have so much to share. Please follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Today is the Day Live It. Write a review. Send me an email at jody@todayisthedayliveit.com. If you're interested in learning more, if there's a topic that you'd like to hear more about, and one more thing, go to todayisthedayliveit.com. You can sign up for our upcoming events. Have a great week, everyone.